Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. We've got Kaitlyn Bristowe getting interviewed on one of those street TikToks where they go up to you and invade your privacy, and that's how it works. They ask her how much money she spends on her trip to New York City, and because she's there on a business trip, she gives her answer. We're going to get into that and hear what she has to say. I'm going to be traveling to New York City along with Nashville and some other cities, and I'll tell you how much it's cost me to travel. Kaitlyn's actually doing it much, I don't want to call it frugal, more frugal than I am, but she's got a big Instagram following, so she's probably getting some meals and hotels paid for. All right, follow me on Instagram at DNeals. I'm also Patreon right now if you want to jump on the private live stream. We've been house shopping trying to get us a new studio, so patreon.com/Dave Neal if you want to check out what the process is over there. And every afternoon, Bachelor Rush Hour, the hit podcast. All right, so we've got Kaitlyn. Here she is in New York City, sharing her journey from her time there. But what the interesting thing is that she was found by Suli Mandolev. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but A for effort. And here's an interview. He does man on the street interviews, daily episode of How Much Americans Spend. So here he found Kaitlyn Bristowe, and he's asking her how much she spends. Let's have a listen.
What's your name?
I'm Kaitlyn Bristowe.
And where are you from?
I'm from Vancouver, Canada, but I live in Nashville.
And how long have you been in New York City?
2 days.
How long are you staying here?
One more day.
Why are you here?
I have a podcast, and I went to the Sports Illustrated party last night.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much are you going to spend on your New York City trip, including the flights, the hotel, the food, and everything?
You know this TikTok? Oh my gosh, you're like Jason Tardik. How much am I going to spend? Flights, I spent $500. Okay, dinner, probably around $2,600.
How did you spend it?
Dinners, flights, hotel, and Ubers. A lot of Ubers.
And what's your job?
I'm a podcast host, and I started my own wine label called Spade and Sparrows.
If you were to give one advice to everyone that's watching, it could be anything. What would you say?
You gotta live your life by thinking, I'd rather be hated for who I am than liked for somebody that I am not.
Beautiful. I'd rather be hated for who I am than liked by somebody that I'm not. I'm surprised she only spent $2,600, but when you look at her Instagram, she does tag Royalton Park Avenue Hotel, so chances are she got that for free, because $2,600, I'm going to be in New York January 6th to the 11th, and 6 nights for me staying just at a Hyatt place is going to cost me over $2,000. So for my trip, I'm imagining I'll spend at least $3,500. I mean, you can't buy a Diet Coke without, you know what I mean? It's an expensive city. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're visiting New York, I will point you in the direction of how to save money. It is the best dollar pizza you'll find in the world. You can go to Gray's Papaya and get a hot dog. I'm not claiming it's going to be the best cuisine you've ever had, but, 1 or 2 meals a day, you need to save your money where you can. If you've never been, funny, I remember my sister and her husband, they came to visit me in New York City, and I was like, all right, we'll get breakfast sandwiches for everybody. We were getting ready to go to Central Park or something, so I grabbed a bunch of breakfast sandwiches. We had like 5, and they were bacon, egg, and cheese and whatever. They're from a bodega, which is just a New York term for mini mart, and my brother-in-law was like, oh my gosh, he was thinking it was going to cost $40, $50. It came out to like $11. He was like, oh my gosh, this is so cheap. And I was like, well, yeah, there are plenty of ways to be in New York City on the cheap. But when you're visiting and you want to go out to dinner, I remember when my wife and I went out to this specialty cocktail place during Christmas just to get one of their mulled wine cocktails. It came out to $26 a drink. Yeah. You better be thirsty when you go to New York, you know what I mean? But I always end up at some dive bar where you can get $3 beers. So, it's when you know where to go, it's not that expensive. But very interesting, it was only $2,600 for her. But I guess if you take out the cost of the hotel room, so there she was on the red carpet with Machine Gun Kelly, they tried to cancel him, but due to our Second Amendment rights, we couldn't get rid of Machine Gun Kelly. You like that joke? Anyway, here she is. And then she, of course, called herself Walmart Megan Fox. Those are her words, not mine. Garage sale Megan Fox. So there she is with her friends. I wouldn't say she's garage sale Megan Fox. I would say she's Kaitlyn Bristowe. But there she is. So there she is dancing, of course. And then that clip got her in trouble with some people that thought she might have been singing foul words, which of course she wasn't. Some people left comments on that. Okay, so that's not what happened. But either way, there she was, and then I guess this is the hotel she was staying at. So yeah, this is how it works with influencers. When you've got a following, you get to either stay for free or stay on the cheap. That's how it works. That's how you trade social equity. So she was in New York, and another guy is going to be in New York. Have a watch.
So I'm super excited to come on here today as I have an announcement. This is I guess a different kind of announcement for me. Something I've been working behind the scenes on for a little bit. Tuesday night, June 6th in New York City, I'm going to be hosting a charity event. I'm going to be partnering with Everytown for the prevention of gun violence. This has been a subject for me that I've been strongly passionate about, especially after the shooting happened in Nashville at the Covenant School. For me, posting about it, posting stories about it, I've always wanted to do more on this cause, and I couldn't be happier to partner with Everytown on this for this event. You know, if you're on the fence about this sort of issue, I invite you to still come, learn about the cause, learn about the organization. We're gonna have an incredible speaker there. We also have Connor B from my season singing and playing music all night. Victoria's gonna be there. She feels so strongly about this cause as well. And I'm sure some of my other Bachelor Nation friends will be there. I'm excited to share this with you all. You know, this is going to be the day after my 30th birthday.
Okay, so there's Greg supporting a good cause. It's, I don't want to paraphrase what the cause is for, but it's sensible gun legislation. We say sensible because, you know, I think the majority of Americans across political parties and affiliation have agreed that there needs to be sensible regulation, much like there is when it comes to getting your driver's license. You can't just drive a car without a driver's license, or if you are caught, you'd get in trouble. The same, you know, should be said, you know, federally across state lines. You shouldn't be able to drive to one state, pick up a weapon that you couldn't get in another state. We should be able to make sure that we have the systems in place to make sure the guns aren't in the hands of people who don't responsibly take care of them. And of course, there's a million other issues. I could get into it all day long regarding our health care and what other things need to be taken care of. But either way, Greg's going to be there on June 6th. So go check that out. Also, I'm going to be in New York City on June 6th on this show at New York Comedy Club. Look, tickets are $25, but check this out. If you just use this code BITCH, which, you know, I didn't make the code. That's just what it is. If you apply the BITCH, $30 now becomes $13. Of course, there's a two drink minimum. You got to pay those New York prices, but not a bad price to see great stand-up comedy. I'll be on this show with one of my best friends who I started stand-up with a decade ago. She's so funny. Her name's Katie. And yeah, I know a lot of Katies. And anyway, I think it's, what is that? Ages 16 and up. So that'll be a fun show. I've got other shows, but this is the main one I'm promoting. That'll be Tuesday night, June 6th. So, hey, maybe you'll get lucky and you can go see Greg and Victoria, and then you can come to my show, maybe catch Connor singing. Lots going on there. I'm also going to be, and I'm promoting this because it kind of has to do with the idea. So Kaitlyn goes to New York City, right? And she's obviously there to promote her podcast. You know, that's like her main livelihood. Everything comes from the podcast. She gets followers, and by the way, they butchered the spelling of her name. She gets followers that come to the podcast. Maybe they'll buy some wine. You know, then, you know, it all kind of feeds itself when you're in that world, right? So for her to spend $2,600 in New York, she'll make that back very quickly. That's a tax write-off for her. She went there to do some podcast interviews, some red carpets, this and that. I'll be in Nashville this coming Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, because I'll be there to do somebody's podcast, which makes that a tax write-off. I'll also be there to do stand-up comedy shows. So on Monday night, it's just their new material night. It's, again, I went there last minute, so it's really like an audition for me to get in with the bookers and show them that I'm a live, breathing human. But I'll be in Nashville on Monday night, the 29th, And that is only a $10 ticket. And you can see some of Nashville's top comedians, including your boy, which of course I've never performed in Nashville that I can remember at least, but it'll be a ton of fun. So lots going on there. And that'll cost, I know if you're on the Patreon, you watched me, the Patreon sometimes is where I'll be when I'm booking hotels and things like that. So I've been staying at Hyatt's exclusively. They give you, you get free breakfast and they take care of you. It's generally a comfortable hotel room, especially since I make my content on the road. You have to have enough room to make content. At the Hyatt in New York City, it's so small. It's like 100 square feet, right? It's tiny. Maybe it's smaller. Maybe it's like 80 square feet. Put it this way. My Royal Caribbean cruise was bigger than my Hyatt hotel. But I found out that if you use the ironing board as a desk, I can actually get my whole setup on the desk. So, you try to make do with the nomadic lifestyle of creating content and also traveling for stand-up comedy, and that's where I'm at. So how much does Kaitlyn spend? $2,600 for a 3 or 4 day trip. I know that doesn't seem like a lot of money, but when you're out there trying to network and this and that, it can all add up. All right, well, we'll have more content coming to you guys right after this. I don't want this to be an hour of me just telling you how much I'm obsessed with you.
We can do that if you want to. Let's make it a 2-hour podcast. Let's go. No, you know how much I admire you. I just think you're incredible. I'm also feeling like top of the world right now. I just got picked up by you in a car. There's cameras. I'm like, what is life right now?
I thought you were going to say like you just got your podcast picked up for some deal. No, this
is better.